The fork and the chopstick, how food reveals the clash of worldviews. Hey everyone, today let's talk about something we all do every day but rarely think deeply about, food. But I want to take you beyond just flavors and recipes. I want to explore how the simple act of eating, the choices on our plates and the tools in our hands, can reveal profound differences in how entire civilizations see the world, solve problems, and even engage in politics. We're going on a journey from the dining table to the global stage, connecting the dots between Chinese cuisine, Eastern and Western thought, and the high-stakes game of international relations. Let's begin. Picture a classic Western dinner. Your own plate arrives. A perfectly grilled steak, perhaps, with neat portions of vegetables and potato on the side. Your tools are a knife and fork. The goal is clear: to cut, to separate, to portion this meal neatly for individual consumption. It's efficient, personal, and the boundaries are clear. Now, picture a traditional Chinese meal. At the center of a round table is a spread of shared dishes: a whole steamed fish, a bubbling clay pot, a plate of stir-fried greens. Your tool is a pair of chopsticks. The goal here is different: to pick, to gather, to share from the common plates. The meal isn't a collection of isolated components on your plate. It's a flowing, interactive experience centered around community. This is our first and most fundamental point of departure. The Western plate embodies a worldview of analysis, separation, and individualism. You analyze the whole steak by cutting it into manageable, independent pieces. The focus is on the distinct object, the specific ingredient. The Chinese table, conversely, embodies a worldview of synthesis, connection, and collectivism. The round table has no head, signifying equality and unity. The chopsticks don't pierce or cut. They mediate, they pick up and connect. The deliciousness isn't in one isolated item, but in the harmony created when a bite of rice meets a piece of fish with a little sauce. The thinking is holistic. The value lies in the dynamic relationships between the parts, not just the parts alone. This difference in thinking manifests everywhere in the culinary world. Consider the recipe. A classic French or Italian cookbook reads like a scientific manual. Precise measurements, exact temperatures, strict sequential steps. It seeks to control variables to reproduce a perfect, standardized result. The spirit is: follow the rules and you will achieve the objective truth of the dish. A Chinese recipe, however, often infuriates beginners with its vagueness. Add salt to taste. A handful of ginger. Cook until fragrant. It's not about precision for its own sake. It's about principles and adaptation. The cook must constantly adjust to the specific ingredients. The water content of this cabbage. The strength of today's stove fire. The goal isn't to replicate a static ideal, but to achieve a dynamic balance. The wok high, or breadth of the wok, in that unique moment. One tradition seeks mastery through control and categorization. The other seeks mastery through intuition, context, and continuous adjustment to achieve harmony. Now, let's extend this logic beyond the kitchen. How might these deeply ingrained mental models, the analytical versus the holistic, the rule-based versus the principle-based, play out on the vastly more complex stage of global politics and strategy? Think of international relations through the Western analytical lens. It often involves defining clear nation-state actors, their explicit alliances, NATO, for example, and their stated interests. Conflicts are framed in binary terms: democracies vs. autocracies, good vs. evil. The strategy is often zero-sum. One's gain is perceived as another's loss. The tools are treaties with rigid terms, sanctions as punitive measures, and military alliances that draw clear lines in the sand. The approach is to identify the problem, a rival nation, apply pressure, sanctions, deterrence, and seek a definitive solution that changes the other's behavior or even its regime. It's a worldview comfortable with confrontation, clear boundaries, and the idea of a final, decisive victory. Now consider a perspective informed by the holistic, relational Chinese mode of thought. The world isn't merely a chessboard of independent pieces, but a complex, interconnected ecosystem, a global version of the round table. In this view, absolute victory that crushes an opponent is a Pyrrhic one. It damages the entire system's harmony. The focus shifts from defeating a single actor to managing the entire network of relationships. Strategy becomes about the long game, patience, and indirect influence. Instead of solely relying on rigid treaties, there's an emphasis on building guanxi, or connections, complex webs of mutual benefit, economic interdependence, and cultural exchange. The tools are infrastructure projects that link continents, like the Belt and Road Initiative, multilateral forums that emphasize dialogue, and a rhetoric of win-win cooperation, and a community with a shared future for mankind. The goal is not to force a checkmate in one move, but to gradually reshape the environment and the relationships within it, making conflict less desirable and cooperation more natural for all parties. It's a strategy of shaping context, not just confronting opponents. This doesn't mean one mode of thinking is better than the other. The analytical, direct approach can be powerful, decisive, and morally clear. The holistic, relational approach can be flexible, resilient, and strategically patient. The friction in today's world often stems from these two operating systems, talking past each other. A Western diplomat might demand a clear, immediate answer on a human rights issue, seeing it as a standalone, categorical imperative. A Chinese diplomat might address it within the broader, long-term context of development and stability, seeing the categorical demand as disruptive and naive. One sees a nail to be hammered. The other sees a thread in a delicate tapestry that can't be pulled too hard. So the next time you sit down to a meal, whether it's with a knife and fork or a pair of chopsticks, take a moment to reflect. You're not just consuming calories. You're interacting with centuries of accumulated philosophy. You're holding tiny instruments shaped by a civilization's deepest assumptions about order, community, and how to navigate a complex world. In an era of global tension, understanding these differences isn't just academic. It's the first step toward true dialogue. It's about realizing that the other side isn't necessarily irrational or evil. They might just be playing an entirely different game, with a rulebook written not in treaties, but in the collective memory of 1,000 family dinners around a shared feast. The path to peace may well require us all to learn how to appreciate, and sometimes even use, the other's set of tools. Thank you.